How did Clover, Sam, and Alex go from this all the way to this? Meet Clover, Sam, and Alex, all teenage girls attending Beverly Hills High School in California. Clover is the girly girl, boy obsessed and fashion forward. Sam is the smartest of not just the three of them, but the entire student board. And Alex is the sportiest, having backgrounds in multiple sports and seeming to be the only one out of them that seems to get excited when a physical challenge presents itself. And then, of course, we have Jerry, the leader of WHOOP, which stands for World Organization of Human Protection. He instructs the spies, giving them gadgets and acting as a mentor to them. When it comes to villains, we have several memorable ones, including Mandy, a typical mean girl of the school who makes it her life's mission to antagonize the girls in their day-to-day life. Another villain is Terrence Lewis, who's revealed to be Jerry's evil twin brother. And we also have Tim Scam, a former member of WHOOP who got booted because of his illegal use of their classified weapons. Our first episode, A Thing for Musicians, begins with Clover falling head over heels for the new guy in school, Damon. I'm not sure if it's his luscious locks or his voice that's calling her name, but either way, she asks him out on a date. This causes Mandy, one of the girls' main antagonists throughout the series, to loudly announce that she and Damon had plans to go to the mall after school, thwarting Clover's plans for love. In the middle of Sam and Alex comforting Clover, the three drop down a trapdoor, dropping them into the secret lair of WHOOP.
So nice of you girls to drop in.
Nice for some of us.
It's here that we meet Jerry for the first time, who suspiciously looks and acts like Alfred from Batman. He informs the girls of a weird phenomena regarding a certain pop musician, Ricky. Apparently his fans aren't just admirers, but downright obsessive over him, to the point where it's raising some major concerns. The three are ordered to pretend to be his opening act so that they can get closer to the source and figure out exactly what's going on behind the scenes. Thankfully for Clover, this is a great way to stray Damon away from Mandy, as now she can pretend to have something in common with him. Meanwhile, when the girls finally meet Ricky, they quickly realize that something's up. When Ricky offers the girls to record with him, his producer loudly announces that recording with others is prohibited. And after Ricky and the producer leave, the girls find that every CD in his room glow a strange color upon opening their cases. The girls head over to the concert and learn that Ricky doesn't even sing during his performances. His crew just plays his weird glowing CDs. Sam and Alex go up to the producer's booth to see if they can find anything funky going on in there, while Clover insists on staying backstage so she can get an up-close view. Upon entering the producer's booth, Sam and Alex discover it's soundproof. When the three go home, Clover is completely hypnotized, only talking about Ricky and obsessively listening to his songs over and over again. The next day, the spies travel with Ricky to his recording studio. It's here that the girls hear him chanting a very strange passage, "I'm your master, follow me as I spread disaster. Take over the government and do as I say. I'll rule the world and you'll obey." I've heard worse lyrics.
Okay, I'd say those definitely fall under the special lyrics category.
It's obvious that he's being spoon-fed the lyrics by his producer, who's disregarding all of Ricky's lyrics that he wrote himself. Sam and Alex turn full spy mode, ignoring Clover since she's essentially useless now that she's under their control. The two infiltrate the recording studio, finding that the higher-ups in Ricky's music circle are slowly hypnotizing the general public, hiding subliminal messages within his songs. The girls end up getting caught while trying to concoct a plan to save the world, but are thankfully able to escape just in time to tell Ricky the truth about what's been going on behind his back. Eventually, Ricky's music crew arrives, but Sam is able to shoot their helicopter down, causing them to not only crash, but to also fly into the mind-controlling laser beam. The villains are caught, and Jerry cleans up after the girls, congratulating them on a job well done.
After the whole tour experience, I'm like so over musicians.
The new Jerry begins with Jerry acting very questionable, trying to control the girls in every aspect of their life. Eventually, the three go down to WHOOP, ready to set some boundaries with Jerry. Surprisingly, the girls are greeted by a young man who goes by the name of Max Smith. He calmly explains to them that Jerry has retired and will no longer be in contact with them. To prove his point, he plays them a video of Jerry golfing and confirming that he will no longer be working with WHOOP since he's been doing it for 35 years.
Sorry, I can't help you. I'm retired.
The girls reluctantly accept the news and are further coerced when Mac gives them all company credit cards and a bunch of fun gadgets to go use in Paris. They happily oblige, but during their shopping spree, the credit card he gave them turns into a lethal weapon with spinning blades that go straight for their heads. They destroy the device and head back to Mac, who seems less than a little concerned that the girls were in danger. He offers them a new car to bring home, only for it to literally blow up right after they step in it. They scan for fingerprints at the scene, revealing that the prints on the car belong to someone named Tim Scam. The Tim Scam. The girls go back to Whoop to tell Mac about their discoveries, but he's not there. The three snoop a bit and find Tim Scam's employee file on Mac's office desk. After analyzing the envelope and realizing that Jerry's retirement video is fake, they realize that Tim has been pretending to be Mac this entire time, and that Mac Smith backwards is Tim Scam. Good one, dude.
Whoa, that is a weird coincidence. You're Tim Scam!
He captures the three of them and brings them to space, launching them out into the abyss, which is arguably one of the most ruthless ways to get rid of someone I've ever seen. With luck on their side and a tornado in a bottle, the girls smack into Jerry's capsule and are able to rescue him before he completely runs out of oxygen, and Jerry becomes functional again. He traps Tim Scam and saves the day. The episode Spies vs. Spies begins with the girls getting a mission to figure out who's taking out the major power plants around the world. They're sent to an underground pipeline where they find a weird spider bomb about to take out the line. Just before it's able to, three mysterious figures arrive to save the day. Back on a Whoop ship, the three figures reveal themselves to be Pam, Crimson, and Alice, three former Whoop spies. At the base, Jerry is overjoyed to see them, saying that the three of them went missing 7 years ago and he assumed they were all dead. Sam, Clover, and Alex are unamused and suspicious, making fun of the older girls' outfits and questioning why they were at the pipeline in the first place.
Why don't you all go on the mission together?
Okay, sure, whatever.
Jerry tells Sam, Clover, and Alex that the old spies must go with them on their next mission in order to be reintegrated. While they're at the next power plant, the older group sabotages them, presumably killing them and taking their spots back. The three aren't dead though, and eventually make their way back to the Whoop base only to find that Jerry is replacing them with the old spies. He sends them off to a rehabilitation camp in order to reintegrate back into normal human life. But the three take a detour to where the old group is supposedly helping towns rebuild after the power outages. Upon arriving at their supposed location, the spies don't find any broken towns, but rather a hidden paradise where it's revealed the old spies were living luxuriously in hiding with the villain that supposedly kidnapped them. They're shown to be working with him, helping to shut off the power plants. Clover can't control her frustrations about the traitor spies getting all three of them caught. While imprisoned, the three learn that the old spies aren't naturally evil, but rather the villain that they're working with put an implant in their spinal cord in order to control their brains. If it's not brainwashing CDs, it's spine implants, I guess. Inevitably, the girls escape, capture the villain, and tear out the girls' chips. Jerry arrives, presumably because the missions were taking so long, only to help the girls secure the villain and learn of everything that's happened. The old spies don't want to spy anymore, claiming they've had enough spy adventures for a lifetime, leaving Jerry to go back to Sam, Clover, and Alex. Awkward. The next episode is interesting because we get to meet not only Jerry's mother, but Sam, Alex, and Clover's mothers as well. However, things quickly seem off whenever the girls realize that their mothers are continuously trying to kill them. They begin spying on their mothers, confirming their beliefs. The three attempt to track down where they think their mothers are getting orders from, only to find Tim Scam. He apparently had broken out of their highly secured island prison and is continuing his pursuit to take over Whoop.
Throw your daughter in the sauna, then come home with me and do my laundry.
The girls battle their mothers, eventually tackling Tim and breaking their mothers free of his mind control. The episode ends with their mothers happily continuing their hangouts with their daughters, not quite sure of how they got to the location that they're in. In this next episode, called SPI, we learn of a new spy organization called SPI. The girls are given a mission to stop a jewelry robbery from going down in London, but when they get to their desired location, their mission has already been done by the new spy group. But while they're there, they notice that the criminals who the SPI members caught have tattoos much like previous criminals that they had already caught about a week ago. Later in the episode, Jerry breaks the unfortunate news of Whoop having to shut down. Because of SPI, there's just no need for them. They haven't been bringing in any bad guys, nor have they been making any money. Well, we can see where Jerry's priorities lie. Before getting too sad about no longer being spies, Sam decides to go on one last mission. She confirms that the same villains were caught twice, meaning that SPI has not only been solving these crime cases, but also being the ones who caused the crimes in the first place. While spying, Sam accidentally falls through the SPI's conference room, but right before she falls, she sends Clover and Alex a message revealing everything that she's found. The two girls head to SPI, getting captured themselves as they were a bit too obvious in their reasons for being there. While captured, the leaders of SPI reveal that the reason she created the evil operation is because she had always wanted to be a Whoop spy. However, she was never deemed good enough. Her revenge was first to get rid of Whoop, and then she became too greedy, wanting the world's wealth reserves as well. The girls eventually escape. Man, these villains are bad at detainment. The boy SPI agents are sent after them but fail miserably, getting flung off a moving plane into the ocean. The girls end up getting help from Jerry, who catches their falling plane. The episode ends with the three of them getting congratulated and keeping their Whoop job for the foreseeable future. The first episode we'll be covering in Season 3, Evil Coffee Shop Much, indulges in an interesting concept. Mandy, the mean girl from school, gives the girls a hard time as per usual, noticing that they're always doing weird stuff and wearing their spy outfits. The girls attempt to cover it up by explaining that they're actually part of a skydiving club, but Mandy isn't sold. Knowing that the girls are up to something more than that, she ends up infiltrating Whoop whenever the girls are summoned.
Quick, Jerry, grab her! Reprogram her brain! Tackle her to the ground and shave her head!
Jerry is incredibly impressed by this and offers Mandy a spot on their team. The girls go on a mission together, and actually end up working decently well with Mandy. However, the mission was too messy for the new spy, with her getting covered in grime and coffee on more than one occasion. The episode ends with the girls being successful, and Mandy demanding that she get reimbursed with a shopping spree for everything she put on while she was with them. Jerry settled with erasing her memory instead. I guess it's the cheaper option. The original group is back, and Mandy turns back into, well, Mandy. Just as things should be. This three-parter Evil Promotion Much begins with Clover, Alex, and Sam getting promoted from junior spies to top secret special agents. Jerry is ecstatic to deliver the news of more danger, more responsibility, and more missions. But the girls couldn't be less thrilled. Jerry ships the girls off to be formally trained at the Whoop secret agent facility. Upon arriving, they meet a man named Terrence who just happens to be there. While at the facility, the girls meet a boy spy they're unfamiliar with named Dean.
My name is Clover, but you can call me Smitten.
And instantly fall in love, I might add. Later that evening, the girls, along with their new male friend, get assigned their own digital trainers. They're told that each one of them was carefully monitored since birth and chosen by the Whoop administration long before they were aware of them. After learning about their chosenness, the four are put under multiple different tests throughout the day, all physically and mentally exhausting. Upon returning back to their training base, they're hit with an earthquake and a flood. Dean disappears, and the girls hurriedly get out of the building. When finally outside, they run into Terrence, who feigns innocence, claiming he was just on a nightly walk because he couldn't sleep. He then creepily tells the girls that he knows where Dean is, leading them to the basement and revealing Dean smothered and trapped in strange pink goo. He doesn't allow the girls to get close to him, threatening to kill Dean if they try to approach. Terrence gives the girls an out, kill Jerry and collect his secret microchip in his neck in order to save Dean. Horrified, the girls are sent on their way. Thankfully, they came up with an idea. Using the training devices that they were given, they turn the holograms into duplicates of themselves. While Terrence is distracted, the girls, while in disguise, communicate with Jerry, telling him everything that has gone down so far.
Terrence? I don't believe it.
I take it you know this dude?
Jerry, shocked, tells the girls that Terrence seems to be somebody from his past, and upon learning that he also instructed the girls to take off his fake birthmark and find his microchip, he realizes exactly what he's dealing with. He helps plan a fake attack upon himself in order to trick Terrence and get back at him without his knowledge. The plan goes haywire though, ending with Jerry falling presumably to his death from a high distance into the ocean. The girls can't find him, and Terrence congratulates the girls on their success. The girls decide to go behind Terrence's back yet again to attempt to rescue Dean, only to find that the Dean they've been trying to save is actually a dummy doll. Terrence finds the girls and reveals to them that the real Dean is a double agent, who's been secretly used to take advantage of the girls the whole time. Terrence then goes on a long rant about how he wishes he would have been there to witness Jerry's suffering in person, which low-key weirds the girls out. After his rant, he sends the girls back to the training grounds, which they now know are fake, in order to kill them. Right before the girls fall to their death, a helicopter shows up and rescues them. And get this, Jerry is there.
You're still alive! It really is you!
After accusing him of lying to them about his death, he explains to them that the only reason he didn't disclose his plan beforehand is so their reactions would be convincing enough to make Terrence believe, without a doubt, that he was actually dead. Now that Terrence thinks that Jerry is out of the picture, they're fully able to take him down in secret. While on the helicopter, Jerry reveals to the girls their future plans. Apparently, Whoop has been working on self-sufficient robots to take over the spy industry in about 50 years. Wow, that's scary relevant today. Let me guess, Elon Musk now runs Whoop. Jerry is unsure exactly why Terrence is going after him, but he assumes that it may have something to do with the robot spy data since the information alone could potentially help to take over the entire world. The four of them go to the robot facility to find Terrence and Dean trying to use the microchip that the girls took from Jerry in order to start up the robots. However, Jerry switched out the microchips right before his fake death, tricking Terrence into looking like an absolute fool. Terrence uses his wedgie gadget on them, slapping all of them to the wall. It's here that the girls finally find out the truth about Terrence's connection to Jerry, that they're twin brothers. Terrence then tells the girls of the time that Jerry ultimately betrayed him. In school, the two would help each other cheat on their finals, but when the teacher caught them, Jerry made Terrence take all of the fall. Since then, Terrence's life has spiraled downwards, while Jerry has only been more and more successful. Using the microchip, he unleashes the horde of robots, turning them into clones of Jerry and programming them to take over all of Whoop. Meanwhile, Terrence instructs Dean to kill off the girls, this time the right way and slowly so they suffer. Once Terrence is gone, Dean shoots the girls, but instead of killing them, he actually ends up freeing them from their trap. He explains to them that he's actually been a good guy the entire time, but figured the only way for any of them to live was to pretend to be evil in order to get onto Terrence's good side. With the help of Dean, the girls make it back to Whoop in time to save Jerry and stop the master self-destruct button from going off. Terrence was successful in severely messing up the building and attacking innocent civilians, but overall was unable to fully shut down the facility. Terrence is put under arrest. But as a final goodbye, Jerry tells Terrence that he called their elementary school and confessed that he cheated way back in the day, with his punishment being to repeat the 4th grade. This only slightly amuses Terrence, who still hates his brother's guts.
Farewell, dear brother.
I prefer au revoir.
The episode ends with Clover, Sam, and Alex being recognized as full-fledged super spies, and Terrence immediately breaking out of prison, pretending to be a kidnapped Jerry. Something tells me this isn't the last we've seen of the evil twin brother. And that's sooner than you may think, as Terrence makes himself known again in Season 4, this time with a funky little costume. And what's with a hideous wig? I think I'd rather have Jerry's comb over. Anyways, The Dream Teens begins with Terrence breaking out some iconic villains from their secluded island prison, including some minor villains such as Mern B's Bottom, Helga von Guggen, Boogie Gus, and the iconic Tim Scam. Terrence collected them all to form LAMOS, Lamos, the league aiming to menace and overthrow spies.
You realize that spells lamos?
Terrence wants them all to work together in order to find out a plan to rid the spies that constantly protect Jerry. They come up with an interesting idea. Plasma-based boyfriends? Since the girls are constantly falling head over heels in love with random boys throughout the series without even knowing them, the villains decide that fake boyfriends would be the perfect way to get close to the girls without them noticing. And at first, it does work. The three are happy with their hunks and don't question much. That is, until Alex's boyfriend attacks her. He tries to play it off like it wasn't him, but during the attack, she ripped off a piece of his shirt and noticed the same chunk missing off of her boyfriend's top later that day. She confides in Sam and Clover, causing the three of them to further investigate. After finding out that the high school the boys stated they transferred from doesn't exist, the girls decide to take it a step further, showing up at their address to confront them directly. Upon entering, they find that their boyfriends' bedrooms are exact replicas of their own. They eventually find the boys hanging upside down, appearing to be sucking up a type of green goo. After being caught, the girls realize their boyfriends have been fake plasma clones the entire time, slowly taking away their energy and the very essence of their being. The boys have learned the girls' personalities and, more importantly, all of their spy moves. Because the girls are much weaker than normal, the boys are easily able to trap them, tying them up and injecting them with their tubes in order to take away their essence quicker. Thinking they'll no longer have to worry about the spies, the boys leave. Ha! Rookie villain mistake. Once alone, the girls figure out how to reverse the stream of energy, gaining some of their strength back before heading to rescue Jerry from the approaching lamos. Upon arriving, the girls are able to save Jerry by using bright lights to distract the plasma boys, as they find that bright lights really antagonize whatever they have going on inside their heads. Unfortunately, they are unable to capture the Lamos group, as they were solely using the fake boyfriends as puppets. The episode ends with the girls and Jerry finding out exactly which villains are working together, adding more danger to their radar. A later episode in Season 4, like Totally Not Spies, begins with Helga tricking the girls into buying a trendy new bracelet, which turns out to be a device that erases any memory of being spies. While brainwashed, the Lamos kidnap Jerry, and while at first he assumes that the spies will just rescue him as per usual, he's alarmed after learning of the Lamos' master plan. Jerry calls the girls anyway, but being back to their normal selves, Clover freaks out by Jerry's tale of a spy world and disposes of their telecommunication device. The girls decide to go on a facial, spa, and sushi date day to get their negative feelings to go away, but they can't stop thinking about Jerry and all of the strange things he had said to them. While at the sushi restaurant, Terrence approaches them and attempts to kidnap them as well.
Lamos rule!
What? Was my credit card maxed out?
Muscle memory kicks in, and the girls are able to escape. Spooked and confused, they decide to find the telecommunication device, making Clover dumpster dive for it since she's the one that decided to throw it away. Seems fair to me. They eventually find it and call Jerry back, following his directions and finding him on a submarine. Because of their loss of memories, the Lamos are easily able to tie the girls up.
Have a nice demise! We'll be sure to leave all the hatches open on the way out.
They end up leaving the four of them to drown. But thankfully, right before disaster hits, Jerry notices that the girls' bracelets begin to corrode in the seawater. The girls quickly break free, and their memories of spyhood explode back into their minds. The four of them are able to easily squeeze themselves into a shuttle right before disaster, and they escape due to Jerry's ability to contact Whoop for help once reaching the surface. Meanwhile, we're shown Terrence's real plan now that he assumes Jerry is out of the picture. Back at Whoop, Terrence puts on a fake Jerry mask and pretends to be him in front of a large Whoop assembly. He instructs all of the agents there to put on their new bracelets as a part of their new Whoop dress code, successfully brainwashing all of them. Thankfully, Jerry and the girls show up right in the nick of time, successfully taking out the Lamos. Jerry insists on handling his brother on his own, but the girls had a long day, so they decide to finish the job for him, successfully saving the day. The next three-parter, Totally Busted, begins with Clover, Sam, and Alex busting yet another villain, this time labeled the Inventor. He was concocting a strange substance named SUDS, which stands for Simple-Minded Users Destroy Spies. After sending the Inventor off to jail, Alex collects a sample in order to take it back to Jerry for further examination. On their way back to Whoop, the girls get flocked by a group of birds, embarrassingly almost taking them out. While regaining balance, Alex unknowingly drops the vial of SUDS, which lands conveniently in Mean Girl Mandy's pool where she, along with Caitlin and Dominique, happen to be swimming. Meanwhile, once the girls return home, they're shocked by a surprise visit from their mothers. Unfortunately, they're still wearing all of their spy gear and have not mentally prepared themselves to see anyone outside of their immediate circle. They try lying for a bit, but Jerry sends all 6 of them down, leaving the girls no choice but to tell their mothers the truth. Their mothers aren't impressed, banning the girls from being spies and condemn them back to Seattle where they originally came from. The moms leave, allowing the girls to mourn their spy jobs with Jerry. I don't understand why they didn't just erase their mother's memory, considering they erase people's memory a lot in this show. But I'll just assume it's for moral reasons.
Adios, old friend. I'll miss you.
Jerry attempts to cheer the girls up, informing them that while they may be upset, nothing will ever take being a spy away from them, as they all inherently have a spy gene, which is one of the main reasons they were selected for the job. While trying to act normal, the 3 girls kept getting attacked by Mandy, Caitlin, and Dominique, while simultaneously being reminded by their mothers that they can no longer be spies. The girls don't listen, however, finding Manny's glowing green pool and the vial of SUDS that they'd forgotten to give to Jerry. Sam runs some experiments on the strange liquid and realizes exactly what they're up against. Things don't get better when, while on the phone with her mother, Sam hears all of the mothers getting kidnapped. Mandy reveals that the only reason she's kidnapping their mothers is because she wants to lure the spies, making it easier for them to be taken down. The girls, not knowing what else to do, attempt to reach out to Jerry, but Whoop isn't letting them in since they aren't spies anymore. Frustrated Sam leaves Jerry a note in his office, 70 stories off the ground. Come on, of course they're still spies. The girls grab their own makeshift gadgets from a hardware store and head off to a ski resort where they believe their mothers to be. Once there, they get trapped along with their mothers in a contraption that would mean nothing if not certain death. Right before their demise, the girls rescue their mothers, causing their moms to finally see them as the badass super spies that they are. From here on out, their mothers view them in awe rather than disdain. The spies end Mandy and her crew, but before they can be tied up and arrested, an avalanche occurs. Jerry and the mother search for the girls for hours with no luck. They begin to mourn their losses, but quickly change their attitudes when they get a call from Sam. The moms insist on helping to find their daughters, but Jerry refuses, informing them that only real spies are allowed on missions. To appease him, the moms agree to train to become fledgling spies if it means they get to tag along to find their daughters. Meanwhile, Mandy and her crew find the girls after the avalanche. In hopes of getting through to Mandy, Alex tells them of the anti-spy serum, trying to convince them that they don't actually care to get rid of them. This backfires on Alex though, as Mandy has the brilliant idea to bathe the girls in the serum instead. That way, they can get rid of each other instead of Mandy having to spend all of her energy on them. Her evil plan works, with the girls instantly going after one another.
Ew! What am I doing in the fountain with these two nasty spies?
Leaving Mandy time to infiltrate Whoop. Jerry and the mothers eventually show up, and when Jerry realizes what has happened, he distributes the antidote. Upon returning to normal, the girls have no recollection of what just occurred and are confused as to where Mandy and the other girls went. Back at Whoop, Mandy breaks the inventor out of prison and explains to him that she'd like to create her own little anti-spy group, mimicking what the girls and Jerry have going on. The inventor happily agrees, equipping them with little gadgets paralleling what Jerry gives to Clover, Alex, and Sam right before a mission. The real spies arrive and, with the help of their mothers, defeat the inventor and the anti-spies. Jerry gives Mandy and her crew the antidote, causing them to not only return to normal, but also forget everything that's happened that day. The episode ends with their mothers giving their iconic beach house back, allowing them to stay spies and live together for the time being. But there's a twist. Jerry flies out of the girls' mailbox and congratulates their mothers on becoming full-fledged spies as well. They had never planned on telling their daughters about that part, obviously. As punishment, Clover, Alex, and Sam ground their mothers in their beach house so that they can all hang out for one more week, celebrating the joys of them being one big spy family. Season 5 begins with the girls transferring over to Malibu University as they now have graduated high school. They're ecstatic to live together and experience college, but once they arrive, they realize something tragic has occurred. Sam isn't rooming with them. A nerdy-looking girl named Stacy greets them, showing Sam her room, which already has all of her things unpacked. Okay, weirdo. She even sits next to Stacy when she realizes they have the same class together. During that class, Stacy can't think of a correct answer, so Sam, not wanting to take the heat, decides to answer for her. Stacy doesn't take kindly to this, accusing Sam of purposefully making her look like a fool. Sam is weirded out by her behavior, but when talking to Clover and Alex about it, they insist that she's just upset that she has to room with her. Because her friends gave her the cold shoulder, Sam decides to look into herself. That night, while on Stacy's computer, Sam finds a list of the top 5 smartest kids in the school, all of which she hasn't seen thus far while being at the university. She also finds a strange machine that Stacy appears to be working on. That night, while going to the bathroom, Sam falls through the floor and enters a strange greenscape that holds the strange machine she saw earlier. It's here that Stacy attacks, putting Sam inside one of the machine's harvesting sectors. Stacy tells her that in order to maintain her status of the smartest girl in school, she uses the other smart kids. She sucks out their brain energy and puts all of their information into herself. The next morning, Clover and Alex attempt to visit Sam but get locked out by Stacy. Because of her suspicious behavior, Clover and Alex quickly jump on the case.
What would Sam be doing in the basement?
Probably hiding from that heinous roommate of hers?
With the help of Jerry, they find out about the university's secret basement, making that their next target. Once down there, Stacy inevitably finds them, but because she doesn't deem Alex or Clover smart enough to be put in her machine, she decides to kill them instead. She ties them up to a conveyor belt that slowly approaches a furnace. Clover manages to sweat herself out of her trap, and she, along with Alex, save the day. The episode ends with Jerry informing the girls that he has arranged for them to have their very own private penthouse dorm. Season 6 begins with the audience being shown a weird loser dude in his basement claiming that Mandy will get exactly what she deserves. At first, this seems to be stardom. It seems that a random person at school started a fan page about her, which, as you can probably guess, goes straight to her head. Mandy and her followers begin parading around school. That is, until they all turn on her.
Why are the best hiding places always the nastiest?
Meanwhile, Jerry has informed the girls that something fishy is happening on campus in regards to a strange frequency he's picking up. Because of his warning, the spies are hyper aware of Mandy's fame and misfortune. They try warning Mandy as they notice more and more of her followers turning on her, but she doesn't listen. She continues to not listen even when her villain is standing right in front of her. Jerry reveals his identity as Telly Hardwire, a geek who was rejected by Mandy long ago. He's so fed up with people like Mandy, making it his mission to ruin her image for life. Telly then goes on to share his evil frequency plans, as every student in school has glowing red eyes and a similar hatred for Mandy. Telly even gets his grubby little frequency on Clover. Sam and Alex run away with Mandy, eventually finding the source and blowing up Telly's computer with a grenade. The episode ends with Clover and all the other students returning to normal and Telly being arrested. Oh, and Mandy's memory being erased. Again. The next episode in Season 6 explores a new concept that hasn't been mentioned before. Instead of a regular mission, Jerry assigns the girls a side job to transport some villains to Whoop's high-security, secluded criminal island. The girls comply, but they're rudely interrupted by 3 baddies already on the ship. The 3 escape their cells, planning to free every criminal on the island so Whoop will be too distracted dealing with the chaos, giving them time to carry out their evil deeds with no interruptions. Meanwhile, Clover has been debating whether or not to get back with one of her exes, since she hasn't had much luck finding a new boyfriend lately. While on the mission, one of her exes, Blaine, reveals himself on their blimp. Apparently, he is an ex-spy who Jerry secretly stationed on board in case the girls got themselves into serious trouble. Clover is flustered by this, but is fine with fighting alongside him to help defeat the escaped villains. The episode ends with the escapees literally falling back into the prison. So much for their master plan. Clover then confesses that she'd like to get back with Blaine. He emphasizes that he's taking a long, overdue break from women for a while, thanks to his last ex being way too difficult. Mandy.
You dated Mandy?
This later episode of Season 6, Solo Spies, begins with Jerry summoning the girls, claiming he has some good news. All of them are going to be solo spies from here on out. He breaks the girls up, taking away their penthouse, and gives it to Heather. Ugh. Before putting them in new, dingy solo rooms. The girls are extremely distraught by this, begging Jerry not to separate them, but he seemingly has no choice, explaining that every one of his spies eventually has to go solo as part of Whoop's policy. The girls sadly comply, going on the new missions that Jerry has assigned them.
How are we supposed to find anything in all this snow? I can't even find the door, girls!
Their spying leads them all back to each other, fighting crime against a crazed fan named Fangirl. She collected everything spy-related and only has real spies left to finish off her collection. Clover, Alex, and Sam work together to take down Fangirl, successfully ruining her creepy collection and ending her obsession spree. Because of how well the girls work together, Jerry changes his mind, giving the girls their penthouse back and apologizing for separating them in the first place. Season 7, Franken Panda, begins with the girls fearing that something is wrong with their spying abilities. It's been way longer than normal and the girls haven't been contacted by Jerry. When he inevitably does contact them, it's to send them to Singapore. Apparently, a large battery has been stolen off one of their ships. The girls agree to go on the mission, but notice that Jerry's office is littered with moving boxes. He ignores their questioning, gives them their gadgets, and sends them on their way. The girls initially fail their first attempt at the mission, which they blame on the fact that they haven't been spies for a while. To make themselves feel better, they get some frozen yogurt from what appears to be a local food truck. But their portions are incredibly smaller than what they expected, which frustrates them. Sad. They call Jerry, who escorts the ladies to the secret world of Whoop, a huge hive mind of spies, mentors, and the like.
Welcome to Whoop World!
He introduces them to Toby, who will serve as their new gadget boy. After receiving some new gadgets, the girls have a chance to redeem themselves when a giant panda is spotted near the frozen yogurt joint they were at earlier. They battle the panda but quickly realize that the villain behind the beast is just a little girl who wanted to give out more frozen yogurt, as they also believe the portion sizes to be too small at the food truck. Sam agrees with the girl and helps her disable her monster panda before any real damage is caused to the city. The episode ends with the girls meeting Zerlina, the leader of Whoop and also Jerry's daughter. It's here that we learn of Jerry's retirement, which he expects to carry out in the coming weeks. He tells the girls that they'll be coached by Zerlina from here on out, and in order to continue their spying careers, he's also moving them to Singapore, which they are thrilled about, especially after seeing the sweet new place they'll be living in. The next episode in Season 7, Undercover Supervillains, begins with Zerlina giving the girls a peculiar mission. The word on the street is that the supervillains of the world are working together on a super secret evil mission. In order to figure out what that is, she's assigning the girls a simple task: pretend to be supervillains, complete with evil henchmen to get the villains to take them seriously enough to share their secrets.
That's my villain laugh.
Alex volunteers to be the villain, but is confused when she's told to come up with her master plan. Clover and Sam also struggle, not wanting to inflict potential harm on others. It's revealed slowly throughout the episode that Alex begins to turn. She overhears Mandy making fun of her, officially birthing a new type of evil in her heart. She easily lasers off the top of a large tower and starts using her power to her advantage, having her minions do things for her. And not asking nicely, I might add. Eventually, her main minion gets tired of it, claiming that he's going to take revenge on all supervillains because they treat their minions too poorly. He ties up Alex, Clover, and Sam, planning to ship them off to the sun. On their way up, Alex confesses to her friends that she fears she's truly turning evil. But after a brief heart-to-heart, Alex and the girls come to the conclusion that because Alex is overly good all the time, maybe the rebel part of her just needed to shine a little bit. This cheers her up, and the three are able to escape their shackles and fight off the minions. Alex convinces the main minion that he's not really evil either. Because of her kindness, she's able to turn him around, saving the world from their schemes. The episode ends with the girls turning in the entire evil operation, but also promising them that their prison duties won't be too bad. The next episode, Overstimulated, begins with the audience watching a spy we're not familiar with. She appears to be in a rock climbing simulation, but fails. After she falls, her AR glasses inform her that she's going to be retrained. Later, we see that she's been bug searching outside of Whoop World, which isn't what she's normally supposed to be doing.
Found some suspicious worms. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Clover is starting to feel incredibly insecure when it comes to impressing Zerlina. She thinks she's too ditzy and feels like people only see the worst parts of her. Zerlina calls the girls in, but instead of giving them a mission, she informs them of their next task: completing the new Whoop training program that Toby created using the same AR glasses we saw in the beginning of the episode. While inside the simulation, they are introduced to Shimagi. During their first mission, the girls get seriously messed with. Shimagi is not playing fair, claiming that every spy must always be ready for anything. Every time they do something right, he adds about 5 points to their overall score, but if something goes wrong, he deducts 40. Sounds fair, right? Not only are the scores totally unfair, but Toby literally gets shoved off his platform by the other spy training with him. After falling, Toby doesn't act like himself anymore, not even wanting to fix his equipment. The girls are weirded out by Shimagi, but when they call Zerlina, she insists he's trustworthy. They go to Toby for help, but he's still acting off. They decide to investigate his AR glasses and discover that something from the glasses is literally infiltrating his brain. Upon figuring this out, Shimagi captures them and explains his master plan. Apparently, he used to be one of Whoop's top agents, but went a bit insane after getting too close to his work. Jerry took him off the team and reassigned him to spy education. Shimagi's main objective is to make every single spy that enters his trial fail. That way, Whoop will have no choice but to put him back in the field where he thinks he belongs. He leaves to spread the good news about the girls failing, only for them to break free and tell Zerlina the truth. Together, the four of them, along with Toby, work to not only take Shimagi down, but also save Whoop from being exposed. Shimagi's simulation was draining all of Whoop's energy, even to the point of their camouflage force field deteriorating. Clover ends up being the main one to save the day, deciding to turn the force field off and on again in hopes that it will fix the problem. Clover also figures out how to reverse the effects of the memory erasing device, which earns her a compliment from Zerlina, happily ending the episode on a high note. While for now Season 7 is the last official season, that's not to say that they didn't also come out with a movie. Totally Spies, the movie. Totally Spies, the movie is a prologue that shows how Clover, Sam, and Alex met each other and became spies. The movie begins with Jerry watching the girls, closely monitoring their locations and finding them shopping around Beverly Hills, which, let's be honest, isn't surprising in the slightest.
Oops, sorry. It's okay.
Jerry launches a surprise spy test on them, involving a giant piece of sushi chasing the girls all over town. During the chase, the girls notice a piglet, who we know as Oinky, also being chased. They save the pig along with themselves, and Alex instantly bonds with him, deciding to keep him forever. The girls introduce themselves to each other and later run into one another again while talking to their new principal at school. Because of all these strange coincidences, they decide it must be fate, that they become best friends. A little later in the day, Jerry summons them to Whoop for the very first time. He explains the whole spy thing to them, but they're not impressed. They'd rather just go back to school and not get heckled by a strange old man ever again. However, after he releases them, they can't stop thinking about being spies, almost like they're plagued by the idea.
You can't run away! You will be spies!
Because of this, they reach back out to him, agreeing to become spies and even signing up for the vigorous training Jerry warned them about. After completing training, Jerry assigns them their first mission, to figure out the strange disappearances happening around town. So far, only a few people have gone missing, including the famous singer Rob Heartthrob. As they investigate, the girls start to notice something weird going on with the new hairdos around town. Everyone who listens to the ad at the mall ends up with a fugly, chunky blonde bang, and it's making them act totally bizarre. The spies decide to follow Mandy home, since she's one of the victims who fell for the awful hair ad. In the middle of the night, Mandy wakes up and walks to the beach where every other person with a hairdo is also heading. The crowd makes their way to a clearing and is abducted by aliens? The girls barely manage to sneak onto the ship to continue their investigation. Once in the ship, the girls find out the mastermind behind all this is a failing supermodel who's been humiliated one too many times. He kidnapped everyone who followed his fashion trend from Earth so he could build a new society where only those with fashion sense can live together in fabulous harmony. The girls try to capture the model, but are interrupted by one of Jerry's assistants. He insists he's going to save the day and take all the credit, but this backfires big time. Not only does he not save the day, Clover, Alex, and Sam actually have to save him multiple times before the supermodel is finally captured. The movie ends with Jerry's assistant being sent to jail and the girls deciding to stay friends, since it's what brought them together in the first place. Oh, and because of the boys, shopping, and perks that come with it. Not bad for their first mission. And with that, we conclude the Totally Spies series. Which animation style did you prefer? The OG or the newer one? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See ya!